As is the case with public health concerns, there are some things that won't be completely fixed if the government does not get involved. The Infection Prevention and Control, IPC, was designed just for such an engagement.
When we look at what we're doing, how is our hygiene? How is the sewage? How do we dispose of our waste, for example? How do we take care of waste materials from fecal matter, from urine, from animal dander? In fact, do we have laws that limit how we can graze animals, how we can graze domestic animals? People freely rear goats, they rear sheep, they rear fowls. You see poultry all over the place. It looks like no enforcement. Even if the laws are there, no enforcement as to grazing site and as to. So we need education, sensitization, health education, for example. We should not be tired about them. We make sure we provide health handbills for people to share, radio jingles, television program, workshop and seminars.
So part of what healthcare, the healthcare institutions are doing is the issue of antibiotic, judicious use of antibiotic, appropriate use. It's not every time that people need antibiotics. So it's not for every cold or every fever that you need antibiotics. Some are viral, which antibiotics will not take care of. Some, even when people have diarrhea occasionally, they may not even need antibiotics, it's just a fluid replacement. So those are part of the scene that we are doing so that at least we are able to stem the scourge of antimicrobial resistance, because that is a major one. That is really that we had to have a special session of the United Nations General Assembly on antimicrobial resistance alone, because it's a major problem. So that is where antibiotic stewardship comes in. Antibiotic stewardship brings in everybody within the hospital: pharmacists, the nurses, the laboratory scientists, the medical doctors, the pathologists, and then we look at it. Are we using antibiotic judiciously? Do we have an antibiotic policy? What antibiotic do we use? Which one are the reserved one?
The One Health approach to infectious disease control takes into cognizance the part played by all parties in the cycle of infectious spread and looks holistically at the prevention from a human or patient-centered point of view. This means that veterinary surgeons must be part of the prevention and control team. The vets are adamant that animals must be examined before they are put up for consumption, and it is not enough to examine the animal before the slaughtering process. Some infections can only be detected when it has been cut up.
But we know that salmonella, like we know in the US, kill about 50,000 annually. We don't know how many die here in Nigeria, sad as it is. Now, one of the areas where this thing comes true, for instance now, when our mothers go to the market to go buy meat, the meat has gone through so many processes, and they've been exposed to so many things, from the floor, the unhygienic floor is being slaughtered, from the unhygienic trays is being presented in the open, the flies perch and all that. That is where this organism get to perch on this meat, on this beef. And then our mothers go to the market, while pricing and all that, while, touching and all that, they get themselves contaminated. And the process, maybe from there they move to maybe the suya seller or the maize seller or the granite seller, or even the gari seller, and they are trying to sample the gari to be sure whether it is sour or not. They get themselves infected. And that's why we have this problem being prevalent. And then they use the same hand to maybe feed children too at the same time, unconsciously. And that is where the problem starts. But if the veterinarian is actually allowed to play his own role effectively by making sure that animals are being slaughtered are safe and wholesome for consumption. First of all, from the pre-examination, even then post-examination after the animal is being slaughtered, whatever part is being sold is safe, is certified safe for human consumption. And also the way it is being conveyed, being transported, and being sold are all being properly managed by the trained veterinarian. We would have solved a lot of problems at that level.
Vets have noticed, however, that the butchers, fearing loss of revenue, seek a way of escape.
There must be inspection of what we eat. Meat inspection, it is contained in the government controlled abattoirs. We find the veterinarians there, and we found that some of the diseases I'm telling you right now, they know it, and they see such animals that are having it. I give my point. But then the attitude of our people is not really helping matters. Why? If they condemn animals that, look, this one is not fit for human consumption, all you know, you see that okay, they're fine. Next time they won't come to that abattoir. They will now create a kind of a local abattoir and killing the animals there.
Zoonotic disease spread is not restricted to exotic species or animals in the wild. But wherever animals are kept, if proper regulations are not observed, diseases can be passed from animals to man.
Currently, we are still among the countries that are still heavy with rabies burden. And our people still die from this disease, especially children. We have been privileged to see a number of children die from rabies in Nigeria, in Lagos in particular. And we feel that these are highly preventable effects. If the government would conduct what we call mass vaccination of dogs, especially the street dogs, it will go a long way in curbing the needless losses as a result of rabies disease. You know, because the episode we had, children being beaten or being attacked by street dogs, and after being attacked, you know, after a while, you know, the ignorant parents think it's fever or malaria, because those are the early signs, and they go start treating malaria and treating typhoid and all that. But after a while, the terminal signs pop up, and once those signs pop up, it becomes hopeless. There's nothing anybody can do at that point in time, and such victim eventually dies.
Other areas of concern are the methods of waste disposal and building construction. Sometimes residents throw their garbage into drainages, which only serves to block them, or cast them onto piling heaps by the roadside, where they fester and harbor rodents and other disease-causing elements.
Don't just empty waste into the river or into stream anyhow, or somebody polluting that stream from upper area. Other person is carrying bucket, fetching water from that same stream down the ladder, and that water is taken home to be consumed.
Who doesn't like a large and spacious house? But houses like these are not just for comfort. Public health experts have cautioned that while developing new areas for the inevitable expansion of the human race, consideration should be given to well-designed houses with strategically placed doors and windows to allow airy interiors by cross-ventilation. This would limit the spread of infectious diseases, which typically thrive in enclosed spaces. It is clear that health education cannot be underestimated or overemphasized, since it will help people understand that they cannot eat what a rat has nibbled on, that meat should be properly cooked, water obtained from a safe source, and that their pets should be taken for immunization and regular vet visits. That's all on Big Story this week. Thanks for watching, and join us again next time. I am Mary Alale Yusuf.